Aegean is the best airline in the entire country, but did you know that they have a smaller regional airline? Well, today I'm gonna fly it and see what it's actually like, but throughout this video, nothing goes to plan.
So if you don't know what Olympic is, it's basically Aegean's subsidiary regional airline, which falls just underneath Aegean. So I'm pretty sure the only aircraft they operate are ATRs, ours for Olympic. And now I'm here at the airport. It's currently 3 a.m. and we board in 3 hours. So let's head inside the airport now and check in and head through security.
So I made my way into the airport looking for the Aegean check-in desks, but I didn't have to go to it, I went straight towards security.
Okay, so that security was pretty quick and easy to do. There was no hiccups really. The security bins, they were pretty small, but that was okay. I'll give the security a 9 out of 10, but alright, it's time to head to a lounge because we had 3 hours to lose, and let's just say I need to sleep because it's 3:30 in the morning, and I just flew on a flight that left at 9 p.m. and landed at 2:45 in the morning. That's answers your questions if you wonder why I'm here on 3 hours before my flight for a domestic flight. So let's hope we can find a lounge quickly now and I can sit down and relax. They are supposed to be 24-hour lounges though, which is positive.
And now I eventually found the correct lounge. Overall, they had a very minimal breakfast selection, and since we're in Greece, I thought it would be kind of Greek-themed, but it was not. There was a decent amount of seating, but not nearly enough if this lounge gets full. And on top of that, there was a bar with wines at 3 o'clock in the morning. And on this shelf, there were pretzels, pastries, and below that was a drink selection.
Okay, so that lounge gets a solid 5 out of 10. The lounge is pretty big, but the food selection is abysmal. They had one Greek delicacy, which I thought there'd be more since we're in Athens. It just was not the best lounge in the world. But it's time to head to gate Alpha 17 Bravo, or Bravo 17 Alpha, to board out 11-year-old ATR 76 for today's flight.
So I made my way through the airport and towards my gate. But as I got to the gate, it was time for some bad news.
Okay, some bad news. I'm just waiting at the gate now for boarding to begin. And I checked flight radar, and our aircraft has changed, and it's a pretty big change. We were originally scheduled to be on this aircraft right here, on an Olympic ATR 76. Our aircraft has now been changed to an Aegean A320, which is pretty disappointing because I really wanted to review that ATR 76. So for that, you're going to have to wait until next video, and hopefully we'll be able to get the ATRs on this route, on the route that I want to take. So now it's turned from an Olympic review to an Aegean review. So let's see what Aegean's A320 is actually like. And they haven't just changed the aircraft. Now our flight's been delayed an hour because of that aircraft swap, because our aircraft isn't even here yet.
So finally our plane landed from Mykonos and we were able to get into line and get our boarding passes scanned and made my way onto the bus, which took us through our A320. So finally we got off the bus and I made my way up the stairs and on board. So I made my way onto the plane and through the cabin towards my seat, where I was sitting at the very back of the aircraft.
Okay, so some initial thoughts. The seat is decently comfortable. The backpack and headrest are okay. I think it'll be okay for the 40-minute flight, though I'm not sure how well the seat will go for about 2 hours, 3 hours. I think they have a newer cabin on their A320s, and the new A320s, Neos, which we're going to be reviewing in a couple of videos. The legroom is also worse than British Airways. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm only 5'7", and I think I have maybe 2 inches of space, which really is not that much, considering if you're taller than me, you're not going to have a comfortable experience. I also tested the recline, and it was absolutely nothing. so that's not going to. So that'll be okay. It'll be okay for the 40-minute flight, but I'm not sure if in a 2-hour flight you're going to want some recline. So those are my initial thoughts, and I'm going to now keep exploring around the seat, and hopefully this flight will actually be good, because so far things have not gotten off to a very good start.
And in my seat I only had one window, but now I decided to have a look at the very small seat back pouch which contains the safety card, which this aircraft is an Airbus, so that's thankful. And now boarding was done and I had the entire row to myself.
Okay, so an update, things just got even worse. So the captain just came on the PA and said that we aren't able to start up the engines because of congested airspace in Zakynthos, and we're now over an hour behind schedule because of this equipment swap. And still, we need to see things like the in-flight service and a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen in the air, and let's see if Aegean can turn this around, because so far I'm not impressed.
But it was now 8:06 and finally we began pushing back from the gate 64 minutes past the original departure time. For today's flight I'm going to be flying just 40 minutes from Athens to Zakynthos, and after getting to the runway it was time for takeoff. In the air, all these screens popped down which showed information about the flight, and moving up to the overhead panel I found both the reading light and air conditioning working, which in the Greek heat must work. And in the cubby at the top of the seat I decided to have a look at the magazine which showed information about Aegean's fleet and also the aircraft that I was supposed to be on. But the meal service was soon to begin, so I pulled out the tray table which was large and it pulled out, which was nice to see, and I only ended up getting a bottle of water for this flight. But now that I was done, I decided to check out the lavatory, which was large and clean with decent headroom, which was great to see.
Okay, so there's now around 20 minutes until landing, so I think I'll go ahead and share my final thoughts. So right off the bat, let's just talk about the beginning of the day. Well, first of all, I was at the airport at 3 a.m. this morning, and I keep feeling like it's the afternoon, honestly, because I spent so long at the airport. For the ground experience, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it was terrible. And did the flight make up for it? No. Don't get me wrong, the flight was actually pretty decent. Obviously it was a short flight, so there wasn't that much time for service. But I have to say the Greek flight attendants are some of my favorites now. Well, they're really kind and always very attentive. Now, I'm going to put this in the final review, but it doesn't actually count to the scores. But this flight is insane. I mean, the views out the windows are just incredible. But now what you're actually here for, the flight. Like I said, the flight it's only been a 40-minute flight, so it's hard to judge in any airline based off that. But from this experience, I'm going to say, between the seat, the leg room, and everything, I'm going to say, now obviously this time I probably just got super unlucky and maybe Aegean's better, and I'm going to be flying Aegean one more time. That'll be coming out in a few weeks, so let's see if they can turn it around there. Overall, this flight was not something that I'm willing to repeat again, especially not this itinerary that I have. And in the next video, I hope you guys are going to be seeing Olympic versus Sky Express on 2/8.
And now finally we began our descent into Zakynthos and at last came into land.